Have you ever seen anything like this? I decayed to diamond because there is only so much trauma one can endure. And I was about to endure more. Two no-skins heading to battle in the mid lane, and this thing in the top lane. Just in case Graves thought he was smart, I ward this brush in case he E's over. Instead, he takes the beta approach, waddling into my raptor entrance and warding outside my red buff. I place another box of raptors and head to red buff before seeing this. Do you now understand why players with no skins have a certain reputation? I pinged my mid laner to be careful of the roaming level 1 Galio, good lord, and was scared of what might precipitate with 3 no skins now in the mid lane. Knowing Galio was completely unhinged, I was so shook, I forgot to smite the big raptor, and then missed every backstab on red buff. Suddenly, he appeared. I should save smite to bait this creature into thinking he can steal red buff, but I took the more direct approach. I know Graves will invade my bot camps while this is happening, so I pursue. I must get something out of this goose chase. Thankfully, it was indeed the goose I attained. I eventually killed Galio, only to marvel at my mid laner trying to 1v3 at level 2. As I saw Graves' blue buff, Diana pings that Graves used flash. I start Graves' Gromp as my bot lane runs at the invading Graves, who flashes away. I can only assume that Don't on Lucian did not unleash in the chat because he is an AD carry, a role we associate with general ineptitude. I was already praying to anything that might answer, and there it was. The level 1 Galio was back for more. As Diana tried to derail the team in the chat, a second kill on Galio followed, a triumph that seemed to inspire my bot lane to create their own. I do my Raptors and Krugs before looking to gank the level 2 Galio with no flash and no E. This was an early game for the ages. But Diana and Lucian obviously saw my temporary diamond border and sought vengeance. 9 kills in essentially 2 minutes of gameplay.
I'm gonna come.
I buy a brutalizer to brutalize and eventually find Graves E'ing over to his raptors. It's a shame that this champion can E twice in 5 seconds, but this was the alley to my oop. After securing the big raptor, I run unseen through the mid lane, knowing Graves will farm his wolves and Gromp. As the no-skins trade 1 for 1, I blast cone over into this blue buff brush, and lo and behold, despite my ping making this more difficult than need be, I take down my opposite number, before unfortunately panning my camera to this.
Lord have mercy.
I take Graves' Gromp and stay on the map. 2 longswords don't really change too much. I do raptors and spot Graves running to the respawning bot crab. Because Al Pacino might take my Gromp for the second time, I skip my red buff and run bot side. You might be surprised upon hearing this, but a fight breaks out. After wolves, I make sure to backstab Graves and save my E knowing I don't need 2 shivs damage, so I E the threatening Ezreal instead. Lucian picks up the kill, but this doesn't change the fact we still have the same Swain. Grub's my next play, so I farm Gromp first to somewhat sequence it with wolves, and then blue buff, before recalling for a Cyclo Sword and Boots. As I run into my red buff brush,
how'd that get in there?
Cue the montage music. Just remember that Shaco is a cringe champ and takes no skill. A champ that does take skill is Galio top, and he dies again. After securing grubs, I farm Krugs, red buff, as Diana dies again. Clearly not a fan of letting Shaco give her free LP. I move towards the madness. I should E the Orianna out of stealth here, but at least secure a kill on the Silas, and then the Graves. This propelled me into taking Dragon and the Scuttle Crab. Graves might run at my Raptors out of base, so I skip Gromp and do Wolves. And as I do Raptors, look who appears. This is why you think about the enemy jungler. Speaking of, I know Graves will farm his respawning Raptors and Krugs very soon, so instead of waiting for my own, I recall and run bot. But I adjust my plan after seeing Graves run towards mid lane. I queue into the brush and send him back to base. This puts us in a 3v2 bot side, so I pile on the pressure, encouraging my bot lane to fight as I take Graves' Krugs. As I finish Krugs, I box the brush as my pet returns. I backstab twice off my box's fear, R in case Graves insta-Qs against the terrain, but also make sure I push myself towards Graves, and then Q backstab knowing my E will always finish him off. Q flash, bro.
Discombobulate.
Team Shaco then looked to dive the Ezreal, but Orianna's TP was enough. With my ultimate on cooldown, I farmed some camps before pivoting back to the bot lane. Lucian was in a fight to the death, so I provided moral support before recalling. But I was swiftly reminded as to why my blood pressure was still high. Diana decided to trade her life for the enemy support. I farmed Raptors and a big decision now looms. Do I hang around the spawning Rift Herald, or look to kill the Ezreal that would lead to the bot tower? Lucian is also worth bounty, so I head bot, and my macro paid immediate dividends. I make sure to backstab the Ezreal and send the Shiv after his arcane shift, as Lucian culls him to death. We just killed the enemy AD carry, so diving the Silas support was next. But what is more satisfying for a Shaco player than nuking one of Shaco's popular counters? Knowing this Graves will retreat, I angle towards his Raptor Rush, chunking him while dodging his Q2 and a potential Orianna ultimate with my R. Diana picks up the free kill as I secure our second dragon. I reset and charge out of base with the Collector, only to be let down by my counterpart. Knowing Graves will never make it to the summit, I try to influence this fight, but with the enemies so close to their mid tower, shaco, it's really useful. I decide to take Graves' Gromp and then the top crab. Galio's infatuation with me continued, and his charm worked. After securing the Rift Herald, I queued towards the gargoyle in enemy territory, and due to my low ping, I altered the wrong way. Out of pity, I gave 1,000 gold to the Steel Cap's Graves, and when the head of the snake dies, the body naturally disintegrates. Lucian, Nautilus, Diana, Swain, all died moments later. Whoops. The 7 death Graves was arguably ahead of the 1 death shaco, and my capitulation continued. After cleanly killing the Silas, I forgot to queue away from the Graves ultimate, but this was still a 2-for-1, and we secured our 3rd dragon. The next fight was a battle for the ages. I queued over, avoiding the Galio taunt to pick off the backline Oriana, as Graves quadra-killed. Giving this fraud a pentakill was on my mind to reward his itemization, but I had other ideas. Look above my HUD. My Hail of Blades is on cooldown, so when I queue towards the Graves, I have to auto-attack and then E as soon as possible. This cancels my initial auto-attack's animation, and allows me to auto-attack again as soon as possible. Roles were now reversed. The Hunter became the Hunted as I escaped Galio's chase. I eventually farm up to Lord Dominic's regards, before queuing through the mid lane to try to backstab the Ezreal. I could smell his aftershave, but I was still not close enough to land the devastating blow, so I had to R to safety. Seeing my incompetence, my team rose to the occasion. 3 enemies died, including the Graves with Smite, so Infernal Soul was free. Ezreal tried to disrupt proceedings, yet merely delayed the inevitable. Out of base, Baron was the next hotspot, as I delivered a juicy backstab to the Silas, who actually smurfed. Lucian targeted the wrong shaco and died to the Graves ultimate,
Discombobulate.
but Graves ran into a Nautilus ult and Q combo. After control warding this brush so the enemies cannot see me, I wait for the Oriana ultimate before queuing over. I just miss out on my backstab, but this was enough for Swain to finish off the kill. With little HP and without my ultimate, Baron is difficult, so I farm the top wave and take Graves' Gromp and Wolves. Out of base, my destination is the same, the Worm. I don't know why the Silas face checked this brush, but he did, and I wasn't complaining. I then queued over to seal Graves' blue buff before using my R to bait the enemy's cooldowns. We slowly but surely won the ensuing fight and blew the enemy nexus up in the same fashion. My end of game remarks are probably an apt description of what this game felt like.
Get me down.
The victory rewarded me with 30 LP and a return to the pits of hell. Follow the page, like the video, donbishi.com.
Discombobulate.